Man, you ever have one of those friends that turns into the man as soon as you start telling them about something that some corporation did? Well, I have plenty of those. And I'll tell you, like you start telling them about like, oh man, such and such corporation did this. And they did this horrible thing. And they come out of the woodwork, like Agent Smith. They're like, Mr. Anderson. They're like, no, well, actually, man, you don't know that. Did you know that they saved thousands of Mexican children with their efforts by building their plant in Mexico? Those people, without them, they wouldn't even have jobs. I'm like, man, I'm like, who? Or, people do it with morals. They start moralizing. Like you say some lewd joke or something. And they're like, actually, you can't say that because that hurts this group of people or such and such people. Or actually, if you say that, you're contributing to rape. You're a rapist, they'll say something like that. And I'm like, man, get the hell out of here. It's like this, what's going on right now, you guys are turning this place into like 1938 Germany or whatever year. It's like all like staunch, like you may as well just be a pilgrim and put a buckle on your head and squeeze it real tight around your forehead. You know what those people are like? The ones that like to shame other people. If this was like the 1500s or whenever people used to burn witches and like torture people, those people would be the ones that would be with the church who would like, they couldn't wait to like torture somebody. Like they couldn't wait to punish and shame somebody. Like there's a bunch of those people out there apparently. If you look at social media, they just jump all over somebody. They might even be worse than the person who was saying something terrible. Like because they're getting enjoyment in a different way out of it, except they're acting like they're not like those people. You know what I'm saying? And you have to be careful with this kind of thing though, because if you criticize those people that are criticizing these other people, you can become like that. Like you can enjoy criticizing people who criticizes people. As a matter of fact, it's turtles all the way down. You could enjoy criticizing people that enjoy criticizing people that enjoy criticizing other people that enjoy criticizing more people that enjoy criticizing more people that enjoy criticizing other people that enjoy criticizing more people. The pool of musicians for where I live is pretty small. And although it's a city of 1 million plus people, it's not necessarily an artistic city. It's a city that's based more around the medical industry and other industries. So I had to do things to make a living here. For example, there's this prominent couple in the more like arts district here, and they hold house concerts. But I already did a house concert. I had already done a house concert, and I they pay well, and I needed to do another house concert. So I don't know what to do exactly. So I just got my friend who has done like a prosthetic makeup, and I extended my nose, and I got an accent, and I wore shades and a hat and a wig under the hat with long hair. And I gave myself a name, and I don't really know how to speak any other languages except Spanish. And if I spoke Spanish, I felt like it would give me away. So I just made up gibberish, and I had a translator with me, which was a friend of mine that had just moved here. And I put a whole set of music together, of music that I usually don't play. And I did another house concert there, and they would ask me questions, and I wouldn't understand them, and then my translator would translate to me in gibberish. I didn't know what they were saying, and I would just speak gibberish back, and she didn't know what I was saying, but she would just speak for me. And it went well because people didn't want to talk to me all that much. It was kind of odd and awkward to talk to me that way. I just was aloof with my big shades on, and kind of in the corner there of the party, of the after party. And it went well, and I would like to do that again, but I don't know how to disguise myself again. So there's not many places that you can play around here to make a living, you know. I have a mariachi band now, and that helps, but it's still me. It would still be, hey, look, there's Goliath again, but now he's in a mariachi band. I don't know where I'm gonna go from there, and I'm gonna try something else. I'll let you know what happens. You know what? The production value of this podcast has been lagging. Don't you worry, we're going to step it up. There was this one time when I was playing at this restaurant. It was kind of a fancy restaurant. And they had a really nice patio outdoors, and they would set me up outside of the patio, and I got into some beef with the manager there, and you know, I didn't know at the time, I was single, you know, I didn't know that, like, his apparently his sister, recently divorced sister, had come on to me really strongly, and we started having an affair. And I didn't know it was his sister, really. But I'll tell you what happened until it was too late. So he fired me, right? And there was a lot of people that used to go there to see me play. And I was really upset, and the people that go there to see me play were upset. So I didn't know what to do. I have this friend whose his business is drones. He specializes in drones. So I figured, you know what? I don't want to let my crowd down. I don't want to let my fans down. I want to keep playing there on Friday evenings. I would start pretty early. During the summertime, the sun would still be up. So they were upset. They were emailing me, hey, Goliath, what's up? I said, hey, don't you worry about it. I'll be there. I heard you got fired. And I missed the first Friday, and then the second Friday, my friend and I, with his drones, he set up several drones, right? These are heavy duty drones, like the kind with propellers, like 4 propellers each. And I said to him, you know, I said, he can't do anything about the airspace, like they don't own the airspace. So I attached a little amp to my belt buckle. And I was just floating above the people, and I was still playing for them. And he came out with a broom, like trying to shoo me away like I was some sort of fly. And I had the controls, right? I had the controls on top of the guitar, like on the top side of the guitar. So I could move up and down and stuff. I couldn't use the loop pedal. But there I was, just floating, and the people loved it. They were applauding, and they thought it was spectacular. You know, I'm floating and playing guitar for them. There's something I want to tell you. I'll just get right to it. I've been wearing, like, if you see a picture of me, I mentioned this briefly on the podcast before, but I've been wearing the same vest, like to my gigs, same 2 vests, black vests, for like, I don't know, like 14 years. And I'm not doing that. I don't do that because I have some like deep philosophy or I'm attached to the thing or anything like that. It's probably a much lazier reason, but there is an undercurrent of a philosophy there, which is that I'm not a wasteful person. Like, if something still works and it looks good, I keep using it. For example, my shoes. I tend to go too long on my shoes. Like, man, those are some old shoes, right? But there's no water leaking into them and they still work. I should probably stop doing that, but I think it's too late for me. It's fascinating to me because I'm playing a gig right now, and it's for engineers, and it's in an office, of course, second floor of a building, and of course it's engineers, and they're having an anniversary party, and they're all wearing, you know, dress shirts and slacks and things like that. And their shoes, none of their shoes look as scuffed up as mine do. And basically, I'm tired of looking poor like this all the time. Like, these people, everybody that I play for, they must think I'm like poor. Which, let's face it, I'm not rich, but I'm definitely not poor. And then the truth of the matter when it comes to that is that actually I don't even care. That's where we're gonna end up with this, is that I don't care, and then I'm not gonna change my shoes like that until they don't work anymore. However, I've had a couple of friends of mine recently over the past year comment on my clothing. Like, one of them told me that my clothing stinks, which is true. Some of my clothes stink. And I got rid of some of those clothes. You know, I don't want to be offensive to anyone. And I just don't understand how I could be so oblivious to these kinds of things. Even though I kind of, in a way, know that this clothes stinks, but I think things are supposed to stink. I think that some things are supposed to stink. Like, I think your workout clothes are supposed to stink. Things that you ride your bicycle in, they're supposed to smell. But not in like this, like, hyper-capitalist society. Everything is supposed to be brand new, apparently. You know, when you're doing well. Are you ready? Yeah. Okay. Oh, crap, I got off on the wrong exit, man. So I'll tell you what, look, I don't want to compete with that bus. Buses are mean. They're strong, too. Look at that bus. It's a bus. It's a fucking tank. I'm gonna make a left turn right here. These fucking people, they don't know what a left turn signal is. Like, they won't let me get in the lane. So, I got off on the wrong exit out of habit. You ever done that before? You ever do that? You get off on the wrong exit out of a habit? I used to live over here. So I got off, like, I must have been thinking that I'm going back to my place. Anyhow, there was on my way over here right now, I'm going to play at UF University, whatever, UF Shands, like, medical center. I saw a billboard. And for some of the two most, I would say the two most famous attorneys in town are brothers here in Jacksonville, Florida. And they're called Eddie Farrah and Chuck Farrah. And Eddie Farrah's slogan is, "You can call me Eddie." And Chuck slogan is, "You can call me Chuck." So, it's like, it's real creative there, guys. Hey, look, listen though, this billboard says, it's Chuck, and it says, winning before mustaches, and then it says, we're for hipsters. And I'm like, I passed by this billboard like 5 times over the past month or so. And I'm like, what the fuck does that mean? Huh, guys? Come on, you guys are attorneys, man. You went to school. Did anybody proofread this? Did anybody say, or maybe I'm really dumb right now. Maybe it's so obvious, right? And it's like one of those things where I'm just overlooking it completely. But I don't think so. I don't think so because I'm a writer now. Not that that means anything really, I guess. But what does that mean? Winning before mustaches, right? And then we're for hipsters. Help me understand this, somebody, please. Man, I gotta tell you, we went to Disney World. We took our daughter to Disney World for her 4th birthday. Luna turned 4 years old. And she had a great time. The kids had a great time. We walked and walked like people do there. And there was all kinds of people there. There was a lot of Latinos and a lot of Brazilians there. I heard a lot of different Latin, Hispanic. So I heard a lot of Spanish accents and different kinds. And I also heard a lot of Portuguese. And, we did all the rides and stuff. And when you're an adult, the park seems a lot smaller. I think we did this last year. We did this last year, too. We took our kids there. And I got to tell you, man, Disney World is a siphon for money. Okay, like not only do you pay for a ticket, like which is like $100 a pop, and then when you get there, you drive in there. Excuse me. Oh, my kids are fighting in the background. Don't mind them. So when you get there, they charge you $20 for parking, and if you want the elite, the premium parking, whatever the hell that is, it's $40. And we got the regular parking because fuck you. I'm not going to pay you $40 to park my car. If I was wealthy to the point where money was no object, of course, right? If it saves time, that's what the money's all about, right? Saving you time. So we're not rich like that. So inside the park, as you know, like ice cream will cost you like $6 and a slice of pizza or French fries, or the prices are pretty inflated. And then people are buying stuff in there. I have no idea how much money this organization makes, man. But I figure the cost, they must cover the operational costs just on the parking lot alone. You count, let's say $20 each. You're counting the cars, thousands of cars that are in there, and you're like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. That's $100, and you keep multiplying that. And we went to some rides this time that normally haven't ever heard anybody talk about. Like we went to this one ride. It's not even really a ride; it's a show. It's called the Tiki something or adventure show. We're standing out there. I got to tell you, man, it was hot and it was humid. And it had just rained, so it was steamy, and I was getting fatigued. I was like, man, this is annoying. And you're standing around a bunch of people in line, and everybody's like sweating, and you smell like 10,000 different colognes, and well, what are you gonna do? So when I'm standing in line and I'm looking and I'm sitting around there, and everybody's eating and enjoying all the sights and stuff, there's a weird feeling that I get, and I don't understand this feeling, but the feeling is I get nauseous. No, I don't get nauseous. I get disgusted, and not in judgmental, like judging individuals or anything like that, but I get the situation makes me feel kind of ill. Kind of like when I worked in the kitchen and there's an enormous party that's having a private event there or something like that. And there's like a tub of rice that's being made. And I just don't want to eat anything after I see that. After I see the rice, like a huge paella being made, I don't want to eat. Like it makes me lose my appetite. Same thing with Disney World, just like all this excess. It gives me a similar feeling to that. But we went to this Tiki the show. And the guy that works at this Tiki thing, do they feel, the people who work at this ride, quote unquote, at this show, do they feel like lesser than the other employees because they stuck them there? Or is it the new people at this show that they stuck at? Hang on a second. Sochi, ve a la sala con tu hermana. Luna, deja que la Sochi vaya contigo a la sala. Okay? Dale, está grabando aquí. No grites. So, está stuck. Ni modo. Do they feel these people who work at this show? Are they like looked down? Do people make fun of them at Disney? They're like, "You work at the tiki. You're such a loser working at this tiki thing." Or do they like it? They're like, "'Cause it's so laid back." You're like, "Oh yeah, it's gonna be so easy, man. I got the tiki thing." And so this show is really birds above you in the ceiling and whatnot. And they do a whole show. They don't move anywhere, but they do have animatronics like on their face, on their eyes, and it's very 1950s, like very chorusy 1950s, like that. You know, like how much is that doggy in the window? You know, but there's like a Latin bird and this other kind of bird, and the most enjoyable thing about this show was the fact that it was cool in there and the AC was kicking. That was the most enjoyable part about the show for me. The kids never said, nobody never spoke of the show again. It was like something sinful that we did, and we just never talked about it ever again. We just walked out of there, and everybody there had their heads down. They were in shame. I'm like, I can't believe that I sat through that, you know. And I clapped afterwards. You're clapping. These people are clapping for animatronics. They're clapping for animatronic birds. I didn't clap. Fuck, I gotta admit it. I did clap. I gotta tell you, I didn't want to be a party pooper, you know what I mean? And the poor guy that works there, he starts to clap. He starts it. I spotted it. I didn't want to make him feel bad, man, just in case he feels like lesser than all the other employees that work there, working at the Tiki show. So yeah, I got upset when we were leaving Disney World too, because I went to a gas station completely outside of the park, like 3 miles outside of the park, and just the prices of everything. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with everybody? Like, I paid like $8 for a quart of oil, you know, and then we went after the park. You know, we went to this restaurant called the Rainforest Cafe. I've been there before in Dallas. ¿Qué, baby? Estoy haciendo podcast ahorita, mi amorcito. Estoy haciendo podcast. Ve con tu hermana a la sala. Ahorita ya me lo acabo, okay? Okay. And this restaurant is over the top. If you've never been there, it's like a rainforest inside. And on the ceiling, there's a bunch of plants in the ceiling. You can't see the ceiling because there's a rainforest above you. And I figured, like, if you were going to do something like that, you better not have an insect problem, because they're going to hide up in there and they're going to fall on people's plates. These insects, you know which ones we're talking about. They rhyme with aka, oches. And so we ate there, and it was, again, overpriced. And it's hard to enjoy it because I figure even if I was a millionaire, I would still be like, man, I would still have to rationalize it. I'd still have to be like, well, you know what? This is for my daughter, you know? I would be like, this is for my daughter, and she's special, and today's special. I would still have to do that, because I would be like, how much are you charging for this thing and for this drink and for this plate of food and for these cheese sticks? $11 for cheese sticks? Really? There was nothing special about them. And we bought a Powerade outside as we were waiting an hour to pay this exorbitant fee for this basically regular ass food. And I bought a Powerade for myself, and one for one of my daughters. The other daughter was asleep, and one for my spouse. And it was $12. And this is not in the park anymore. Okay, it's just around there. It's called Disney Springs. It's basically a mall, an outdoor mall, and everything is really expensive. And it just makes me wonder, is there a recession going on? Is there an economic boom going on? Like, there's so many people there. What are they doing? Like, how are they keeping this afloat? Like, so many people are buying these $12 for 3 Powerades. How's that working out? And back in the hotel room, we got a Disney hotel. Not the very nice one, but the one that's on the park there. I think those are $350, $400, maybe $450 a room that are actually in the park area on that little island there. And we went to one of the Disney hotels that's kind of out of the way, and it's still Disney hotels. And I was looking at the brochure, and the brochure, everybody in this brochure, it's telling you what you can do, and you could go to Epcot Center, and there's people smiling, and they're laughing, and there's a little kid talking to the person behind the counter, and the person behind the counter has a smile on them, and everybody's just ecstatic. It was making me sick. I just couldn't take it anymore. And I know that you're probably like, oh, this dude is so negative. This dude negative. You know what? I'm not. I'm telling you, right? Because hang on a second, all right? But I'm not negative. I'm going to tell you why in a moment. Maybe I won't. Shit. But I just couldn't take it anymore. And maybe there's something wrong with me. People stay there for a week. I'd lose my fucking mind. I would lose my mind staying there. So I just had this desire. I want to get the brochure and put some real stuff in there. Every third picture, like the third picture on there, I want a picture of some overweight dude who's has his shoe off and he's rubbing his foot and he's like, he has a grimace on his face because he's going, because he's been walking all day in the heat. And then another picture of a fat couple, can I use that word? Overweight couple, who's got they're from Switzerland. I don't know. Is anybody overweight over there? From somewhere. And then they have a bunch of sunscreen on their faces. They're all white with their noses are white and they're getting burnt by the sun. And they're just grimacing again, trying to block the sun out with their, Bill Murray Caddyshack type of hat. You kids don't know who that is. I mean, you know what that is. Maybe you've seen the movie Caddyshack. I don't know. And, that kind of stuff. And then a kid crying, because he can't get the $80 toy inside of the Cinderella's castle store. The little kid put some real stuff in there. If I was in that movie Fight Club, the way that they did the airplane instruction manuals, I would do the same thing if I had that kind of time and money and no life, basically. So that was that, Disney World, you made a killing, and I can only expect that you made a killing off of every single other person that was in there that was above the age of 18. And you're just amazing. It's just amazing like that. If an apocalypse hit, if it went down, I would drive straight there. I would drive me and my family straight there, and I would take over the place. We'd get into Cinderella's castle, and we'd knock out whatever barriers were keeping it from actually being useful as whatever you call those slits that you shoot arrows from, and we would hold it down in there. I'd get my friends with the guns, and I'd go, hey man, let's go. This is where we're going. It's surrounded by water. It's got a moat. We'd be set there. It's got an underground city. We can get from one side to the other. I would just take over the whole place. And then all the dozens and dozens and dozens of hotels around there, they would just get overgrown with Florida moss and weeds, and it would be, maybe we could extend it, and that could be part of our compound. But these dormitory looking hotels that they have there, what would happen to all those rooms? What would happen to all of that if it went down like that? I know what would happen in the Cinderella's castle, because I would take over it, and we could have it. We could shoot people from all around the whole thing. We could take care of it. We could protect it. Defend from all around the thing. And maybe the whole park. We could take over the whole park. That's where I was thinking that I would go now. Cinderella's castle. We would be holding it down. And I got to start something like that. You couldn't start a Disney World today because it's too bullshitty. You couldn't get people to put that much funding towards an amusement park. Or I could be wrong. People voted for Trump. But I don't think you could get people to be like, well, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to have this kind of land going over here. You know, we're going to have a dinosaur land, and it's going to have rides, and we're going to have engineers build it. I couldn't do it anyway, because I'd be like, man, you could do that like in real life. Like, instead of like doing it for entertainment purposes, you can make a new city and do it like that, where people can actually live and work and eat and shop and enjoy a park or something like that. That's why I think that people wouldn't do it today. Well, if you're going to do that, why don't you just do it for real? Like the Disney people, their organization, they can go into a different city and they can get hired as an organization that redoes your city, right? And then they change the statues and all the statues that are in there, and they knock down any offensive statues for whatever your offenses are. And then they replace them with cartoon statues of other people like Fred Rogers or, I don't know, whoever, Kurt Cobain, whatever you want. And, but cartoon style. And then they go in there and they redo, and they put a monorail in the city, and then they put a ferry in there, and it's all fixed. They're like, their team fixes it, and then the city is clean all the time, 24/7. The city, you don't see any dirt or any trash in Disney World, and you don't even see anybody clean it up. That's how tight they've got it going on there. So they could Disney can be hired as a consulting / engineering / construction crew to rehabilitate cities. What do you think about that? I'm tired of my voice. I'm tired of the sound of me talking. I'm tired of talking, really. Not that I'm tired of talking to you. I'm tired of talking because it's kind of boring hearing my own thoughts. You know what I'm saying? There's no feedback here. Like, nobody's talking back to me. I'm all by myself over here with these little kids. And I got to take care of some stuff around here, you know. And I'd like to thank you all for donating to the podcast. I appreciate it very much through PayPal and through Patreon. The blog, you can also contribute to the podcast. Go to atlanticradio.blogspot.com and you'll find all the details there of how to contribute. The 100th show is coming up, and we're going to do something special for it. And I don't know what special thing we're going to do, but I'll talk to you all later. Ciao. Te quiero mucho. Adios. Bye-bye. Get after it.